This is a cheap Civic dashboard that I picked up last year and it's just been sat in my shed ever since. But in today's video, I'm going to try and flock it at home and then fit it in the EJ9 behind me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Jason. Welcome to the Driver's Den. If you're unfamiliar with the process, flocking is essentially the practice of bonding loads of these tiny little fibres to a surface in order to achieve a suede or velvet-like texture. It's a somewhat common practice in manufacturing. You might have come across it for things like those fancy velvet coat hangers, the inside of jewellery boxes, Christmas decorations, and if you're into your arts and crafts, a lot of people use flocking to apply grass textures or hair to models and such. Flocking also has a load of uses here in the automotive world. You might have seen it before on glove box interiors, center console details, and if you look at track cars or rally cars, dashboards as well. Because most cars leave the factory with this sort of hard, plasticky, possibly cheap finish. And if you look here on my S2000 dashboard, you can see there's a bit of light reflecting against it, there's a bit of shine to it. Normally, that's no issues at all, but if you're competing at the highest level, sometimes this reflecting off the windscreen or into your visor can be a problem. So what a lot of people in motorsport do is they'll flock the dashboard, and that way any light gets absorbed by dark fibers. It also happens to look ridiculously cool, which is the main reason I'll be doing it today. Chances are, if you watch a lot of car content here on YouTube, you've already seen someone do DIY flocking. What a lot of those people have used is a manual applicator kit. It's almost like a cardboard tube that you then pump out the particles and they just sort of fall onto whatever you're meant to be flocking. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. It's a cheaper option and it's possibly easier than the method I'm about to use. But what we're going to do today is something called electrostatic flocking, which, and bear with me here because I think I failed science at school, so I don't exactly have a grasp on it. In here, this hopper, you put your flocking powder, it then receives a positive charge. You then ground whatever object you're meant to be flocking. In this case, it's a dashboard. You sprinkle it nearby, and because of the electrical current, it then attracts the particles and they stick into the adhesive on your negatively charged thing. And the important thing here is when they land upright like this. If you just use a manual kit, they just sort of fall on top. So some will fall like this, some like this, and if you get lucky, some will be sort of vertical. The perk to them landing like this with their end in the adhesive itself is you get a much more of a, there's more depth to it. It's almost like a more of a plush finish. Tends to be more consistent, and according to Google, it's also meant to be more durable. We'll see. Ultimately, like most projects, the potential for flocking really lies within that preparation stage. It's utterly crucial, and if you just try and jump in and try and flock something without preparing your surface, you're not going to have fun, trust me. So before I can even show you what sort of flock I'm using or describe the process a little bit more, this dashboard here really needs some work. For starters, there's some corrosion on the steel frames. Now, I'm going to try and ground off these. Typically, in my practice things, I've grounded off the actual dash itself, but because this is the largest thing that I'll be flocking or attempting to flock, I think I want to clean these up with a wire wheel, and that way I've got something good to ground to at different points. I also need to remove some of this stuff because I don't really want to get flock on this centerpiece here. The coin tray on this one's actually broken as well, so the vents, this, coin tray, cigarette lighter, and a few of the little plugs I'm just going to remove. If I can't remove them, I'll try and mask them up. And after that, I will then give the whole thing a wipe down because it's covered in mold. It's just been sat in my shed for quite a while, so all this stuff here is just absolutely grim. So wipe it down, and then the final stage to it. Well, that's weird. It must be windy outside, hence why I'm in here. The final stage for it is to key the surface, so I'm just going to scuff it up with some sort of really fine sandpaper, and that way all the adhesive has got something to bond to. So, let's cue some music. Let's do a little bit of a cinematic compilation or sequence, and let's crack on. I'm tired. The streets feel alive. We're mixed with light. Goes down, blown down, and life shines back. Alright, I've stripped down the dashboard, so I've got a big pile of buttons, vents, the radio section, and all that lower trim piece. It was essentially just things I don't want to flock, but it's far easier to remove them now than it is to mask them up and then possibly clean them up later on. I also gave it a sand down. There's a few sort of, I don't know what they were, whether they were sticker remnants or where someone might have had a phone mount or something. Sanded all that down, and then I gave it a good wipe down to make sure it was free of oils, grease and dirt, which will hopefully make all this chaotic mess stick to it. And what have we got here then? Let's dive into it. So we've got a epoxy resin mix. So this is the hardener, and then obviously the resin there itself. I do also dilute this with a bit of acetone, just sort of gets like a nice consistency. You don't want it too thick, but you also don't want it too thin. And it's taken a lot of trial and error to try and figure out what the right ratio is. On top of that, you also want to mix in some of this. This is black pigment. So all this resin stuff is a tan color. If you're doing a tan dashboard, it's not really a problem, you can just leave it. But because we're doing a dark flock on a dark dashboard, dyeing the whole thing black basically ensures that if I miss anywhere with the flock, it won't really be as noticeable because it'll all look a similar sort of color. Now, when you're handling all this stuff, gloves are an absolute essential, and so is one of these things. Not only for, I mean, I suppose it doesn't protect you as much from the fumes, but these flocking fibers, you do not want them in your lungs at all. It's not even worth the risk of it because there's millions of these things and they can cause some serious long-term health issues. So respirator, nice new clean filters in it. Hopefully it will make sure that I don't die before 30. What else have we got? All right, so rollers. This is what we're going to use to apply it all to the dashboard. I've tried brushes. That's the only thing I've tried. So I tried a brush, didn't quite work as well, but rollers seem to be the best way to do it. I am also going to put a little bag over this tray, because I learned this on, I think it was TikTok or something daft, where if you put a bag over the tray, you then don't have to wash out your tray. I know, game changer, right? Final thing we need to use is this thing. Now this is probably the most important bit of kit here, and this is the Flocking FK1 Pro. It's one of the more affordable tools on the market, and it seems to have done a good job so far. I have only used it on small pieces, not a ginormous dashboard. So we'll see. This is a real test for it and a test for me. Slightly daunting, but we'll probably be all right. So because I film things on my own here, I've got a little bit of a dilemma when it comes to filming this next part, because I don't want to film myself mixing these and then sort of do all the background filming and set it up, because it risks these things hardening. There's a really small sort of workable window with these, and I don't want to risk missing that because this is all I've got. So I think I'm going to just set the camera up. I'm going to mix these, possibly off camera. I'm going to film myself rollering it, and then I'll also film myself applying the flock. You'll probably see like I might just jump in front of the camera and go, I'm flocking. But yeah, that's just how it's going to go. And hopefully it goes smoothly. If it doesn't, this next segment will be a lot shorter than it should. Right, let's do it. No, I'm not happy with that. Going into this, I knew that grounding would be my biggest issue. I've tried different methods in the past. I've tried just grounding to the adhesive layer on the dashboard itself. I've tried using a copper strip and then trailing that out and then grounding as that. But like an idiot, I looked on the internet and it said, oh, just you know, grind down some metal and use the metal framework as the grounding point. It's not worked. So yeah, you can just tell when you look at the fibers like side on, you should be able to see them sort of upright. And I can just tell just by looking at it, it's so flat. Like it's, coverage wise, I think I did good to get all the adhesive on and then flock over it, but I don't like that. It sucks because some of my practice pieces have been like absolutely spot on. Like, oh, it's so tough. So I guess I'm just gonna have to let it dry and then see what I make of it. There's a chance it might be salvageable. If I don't like it, I might just like give it to somebody else. Yeah, Such a shame. I think I've just seen an area that I've missed a bit. I have. Fantastic. Oh yeah, I've just seen another area that I've missed as well. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, let's let it dry and then we'll come back to being miserable again. Also, in case you can't tell, flocking is like ridiculously messy. It kind of looks like I've just had a bonfire in here, but that's just the aftermath of that turd. Alright, it's now 24 hours after I did the initial flocking. I think you're meant to leave it around 3 days for it to fully cure, but in this stage it's more than fine to be handled. I've got mixed opinions. Yesterday I was in a real bad mood because I thought the whole thing was, you know, it was game over. Having seen it in the daylight, I don't know. Let me go and show you what I mean. Okay, so from this sort of distance, I think it looks pretty decent, but when you get up close, there's a couple of areas that I'm really not pleased with. So you might be able to see just a couple of slightly lighter sections here. Essentially, there's just not enough fibers on this patch. You can also see just around the airbag area, there's a little bit of detailing that I've missed. But for the most part, there's some pretty decent coverage. It feels quite nice to touch. I'm especially pleased with around here, because these are sort of like the cavities that you often miss when you put the adhesive on, but so far it looks like I've done most of the sort of hidden areas, maybe with the exception of there. I don't know. I'm in two minds at the moment, because all this stuff looks passable. There's a couple of little defects here, but I'm thinking, is it worth me still putting it in the car? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these vents in. I also need to repair this one because I broke that one, but if I pop the vents in, it gives it a bit of contrast and it might be a little bit easier to judge it, so let's go and do that. Alright, so it's now looking a lot better now that I've put all the vents and stuff in, and I think I'm just going to roll with it. I think I'm going to fit it in the car, because there's very little point me going through all of this effort just to leave it back in the shed. So I might as well fit it in the car just to see what it looks like. If it looks good, we'll keep it. If it looks bad, it's really not the end of the world to take it out again, but at least I'll know moving forward. Now, speaking of dashboards, the one in my car is the good one. I didn't want to sacrifice my good dashboard, so I opted for one of these sort of broken, half-damaged spare ones that I've got knocking around. So the thing we've got to do now is hop in the Civic and take out the good dashboard. So let's strip it to pieces. Oh, Jesus. Well, that was fun. And there we go, no dash. When the interior of your car looks like this, it's safe to say you are past the point of no return. And it's quite interesting, I was thinking about it yesterday actually. When I first got into cars, I was terrified of doing the smallest things. So I didn't want to take out a radio, for example. Touching a vent would have been crazy. Taking a wheel off, oof, daunting stuff. But in recent months, so just sort of this year towards the end of last year I suppose, I've become a lot more confident. I've chopped out metal from my car. I've welded in the car, I've ripped out the dashboard, unplugged everything, and it's not too daunting. That being said, I do need to be careful about trying to put everything back the way it was. Probably should have labelled some of these wires, but I think I know where it goes and I've got photos for reference. But the stock dashboard is out. It's currently raining outside, as you can probably tell. So I need to do some sort of like ninja maneuver where I go and get the flocked dashboard from the garage, sprint across the driveway, put it in the car before it gets wet. We'll see how that goes. Alright, as you can see, the dashboard's now in, everything's all buttoned up. I've plugged all the wires back in, but the one thing it's missing, as you can probably see, is a steering wheel. Now, I was going to keep this a bit of a secret or save it for another video, but I think that's quite mean, because if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I think you deserve to see the steering wheel I'm going to put on. And here it is. This is a steering wheel from an S2000, specifically my S2000. It's been sat in the loft for ages, and ever since I learned that you can actually swap them over onto a lot of Honda platforms, I've been really excited to do this. So without further ado, let's put this wheel on and then finish this project. I'm actually really happy with that. Obviously I was quite doubtful about the flocked dash, but having seen it all together with the radio in, the clocks in, and this S2000 steering wheel, it's such an improvement. Obviously there's still areas with the flock which I know are incorrect. I can see the faults with it, and it does look like it attracts dirt very easily. I've put a few grubby fingerprints in it during installation, but again, it's so much better than what it was before. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I think it's a good move, and I think I'm going to keep all. Obviously we'll see when I turn the car back on if the airbag on this one just blows up for any random reason, but otherwise I think this is a move that's going to stay. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. This one's probably been a long one. Lots of the same old repetitive stuff, taking stuff out, cleaning it, whatever. But thank you very much if you've made it this far. As always, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Drop a comment down below, let me know what you think of the wheel and the dash. That sounds awesome. What was that? Something with a turbo. Maybe one day. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know what you guys are up to on your cars. Half the reason I enjoy doing this channel is because I get to talk to you guys, so if you guys have done any mods recently, let me know. If you've got any questions about this stuff, drop it below again. I'm waffling. Anyways, video over. See ya. They're both even mything? It's like Mike Tyson there. I have an explosive in my hand. Nerve-wracking.